Hey guys, welcome to East Coast Brewing. What's up? Tonight we got a brew night going on. First things first, man, we got some serious issues up here in Canada. You can probably hear my furnace noise behind me, or behind, in the background, whatever. Because we got some serious issues up here in Canada. At the time of this video, it is minus 40 outside. Minus 40 Celsius. So for all of my friends in the US, you know what minus 40 Celsius is? It's exactly minus 40 Fahrenheit. Now, with the wind chill, it's minus 50 Celsius. So that's minus 58 Fahrenheit, I think. That's insane. If you go outside, well, we still go outside, but like you got to be seriously bundled up. Otherwise, like you're frozen like boom, like that. But anyways, we got some serious issues in Canada right now, but we have no issues in the brewery. We're going to be brewing up a batch of beer, and what are we doing tonight? We are going to do the Mr. Beer Oktoberfest Lager. Now, I've never done this one, so it's going to be first time for me. I've seen some videos and a few reviews. It's got good reviews, so we're going to give it a shot. But we're going to amp it up a little bit tonight, guys. We're not doing too much different to change the flavor or anything. What we're going to do is we're going to add in 400 grams of dextrose. Make sure that doesn't get spilt. And 200 grams of light dry malt extract. Now, why are we doing that? Well, the malt extract is going to give it a little bit more body, and it's going to boost the alcohol a little bit. The dextrose, boom, we're just boosting the alcohol with that, baby. That's what we're going to do with that. You all know I'm Canadian, and I say this in every one of my videos that I boost the alcohol in. We like stronger beers, okay? So that's what we're going to do. But first, we got to have a home brew, and you guys, I made this as an experiment. I didn't film it, so I'm going to have to do it again and film it. But this, my friends, is a white hazy IPA. That's right, and it's made from a Mr. Beer kit. Guys, and it is amazing. I'm going to show you guys how to make this. Super, super easy to make too. Okay? But that's not today. Today we're going to be doing the Oktoberfest Lager. So, before we get going on it, let's see if it actually says anything important on here. Instructions. Also referred to as Marzenbräu, this malty, deep amber-colored beer features a smooth body, toffee-like malt richness, and full biscuit-like bouquet. Yeah, that's what it says, bouquet. Sample and celebrate this beers of Munich world. I read that totally wrong, guys. I'm sorry. Sample the celebrated beer of Munich's world-famous Oktoberfest. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty dark, I think. As you guys know, a lot of times when you brew a Mr. Beer, it's usually darker than what it shows on here. This is pretty dark, so I'm guessing it's gonna be pretty. It's probably gonna be a really dark amber. So yeah, so we're gonna give this a shot. So first thing we got to do, we got to boil up. Usually you boil up 4 cups of water. I'm gonna do 5 because we're gonna be throwing in the extra dextrose and dry malt extract. So I'm going to go ahead and boil up some water up in the kitchen. I'll bring it down here and then we'll get things rolling. All right. Okay, we have our water boiled, our 5 cups of water, piping hot, not like outside. All right, here we go. I don't even know where to put this. Hold on. Can't see me. Now you can. Okay, so got our water. First things first, let's throw in our dextrose. And hey, just a heads up, folks. The little Mr. Beer keg that we ferment in has been sanitized with the no rinse cleanser that comes with the kit, which is kind of cool. All the utensils that we're going to use are also sanitized, like this spatula. Okay, so our dextrose is mixed in here. This stuff, you know, it dissolves really good. the dry malt extract that takes a little bit more work. So we're going to go ahead and throw that in next. There we go. Get this all mixed up. How you guys doing? Man, I love brewing beer. It is so easy, especially with these Mr. Beer kits. Now, there's sometimes that I change the recipes a bit. I'll, you know, do a boil, throw in some hops and stuff like that, and keep an eye out for some of those videos. Yeah, so you got to really break this stuff down because it kind of clumps up a bit. So you gotta really give it a good mix. It should be pretty good there. Okay, so next thing that we got to do after doing this, it's pretty much a given. You got to have some of your homebrew. Now, if you guys don't have any homebrew, go out and get some craft beer from a small brewery, because you got to support those guys, not those big commercial beers that really have zero taste anyways. So you got to get the craft stuff or your own homebrew. Okay, next up, we are going to pour in our, I took the label off and I soaked it in the sink in hot water for a little bit to loosen it up. I did give this stuff a little, like when I took the lid off, I took a little taste, and it's pretty bitter, which to me, that's going to be awesome because I like bitter beers. So we'll see how it turns out. Anyways, this stuff is really thick, so we're going to, see that? Ooh, yeah. It's pretty dark, hey? Okay, I'm just going to, you know what? I'm just going to let this go like this. And then what I did is I've boiled up a kettle full of water that I'm going to dump in here just to get the rest of this out of here. Instead of scraping it out with the spatula, you can just scrape it out with the spatula if you want and get as much as you can. You know, let's see if we can do this without making too much of a mess. Okay, cool. Hold on a second. Can't see me. Now you can. Alright, we got our hot water ready to roll. Now you probably can't see what I'm doing here. Yeah, you can't. That's okay. You don't need to see everything. I'm telling you what I'm doing. So I'm putting the, can't see me. Yeah, now you can. I'm just putting the hot water in the can, and I'm just going to stir it around with the spatula. Ever so slightly. Just so that we don't make a mess, but at the same time, it loosens up the rest that's in here. Okay, now if you've watched my other videos, advice I always give you at this step, don't be an idiot. You know, even if you've had how many home brews, don't be an idiot. Grab your oven mitts when you're going to pick this up and pour it in, because otherwise you're going to burn your hands, or you're going to burn your hands and drop it and make a mess everywhere, and then that's going to suck. Okay, so I got my oven mitts ready to go here, guys. All right, nice and easy. Don't rush it, man. Ooh, there we go. Check it out. See, that trick gets everything out of there pretty much. So that's pretty good. All right. Now you just want to mix this up really good. Your dextrose, malt extract, or sorry, dry malt extract, and then your can of malt extract. I still got some clumps in here from that dry malt extract, so I'm gonna mix this up really good. You guys don't need to wait around for me to do that. By the way, in this video we're going to do the brewing, the bottling, and the tasting to see how it turns out. Okay, I'll be right back for our next step. Okay, I thought I'd bring you in here just to show you what it looks like. It's just really dark brown, but this is all mixed up. All right. Okay, next step, have some home brew. Right on. You know what's funny? This beer looks like lemonade. I've made it twice, this white IPA, and the time before this, it was actually quite a bit darker. So when I show you guys how to make this one, I'm not sure which way it's going to turn out. I'm not sure what I did different, so We'll figure it out. Okay, we got our stuff all mixed up. Next thing you want to do, fill your Mr. Beer keg up to the 1 gallon mark that's on the back with ice cold water. Tap water is just fine as long as it's okay. My tap water is fine. You know, if yours is kind of skunky or whatever the case may be, just go get some bottled water from the store. It's all good. So once we filled it up with our cold water, we're going to dump our beer mixture, which is called wort, into it. You want to be careful doing this. Because you don't want to make a mess all over the place. Okay. Now, we're just going to go ahead and top it up to the 2 gallon mark with ice cold water. So we'll be right back after I finish that, and we'll talk a little bit more about, actually know what we're going to do. After we fill it up with the cold water to the 2 gallon mark, we're going to take a hydrometer reading to see where our starting gravity is at, so we can figure out how much alcohol is going to be in this Oktoberfest lager. All right. Okay guys, we got it topped up to the 2 gallon mark, and next you just want to give it a really good stir. Stir this up really good. Your cold water, your beer mixture. It's sitting a little bit high in temperature. Before you pitch your yeast, usually run around a 64 to 68, so we'll just see after we stir this up what it gets to. Hoping it drops down a little bit. Could be because we put that extra cup of hot water, plus when I did the hot water in the can there to get all the rest of the extract out of that can. So that's just going down to about 72. It'll be okay to pitch our yeast, I think. It'll cool down pretty good down here in my mini brewery. Okay, so that's probably mixed up good enough. Next up, hydrometer reading. If you don't have a hydrometer, I mean, if you don't care about your alcohol content, it does help to you to figure out. Just a second, there's a bit of water in here because there we go. I rinsed it out. Because when you're actually trying to figure out if your beer is done and ready to bottle, you take a hydrometer reading, and then you know what? A day after that, you take another one, and if it hasn't moved and it stays the same, then you know it's done fermenting and you're ready to bottle. So it's kind of nice to have these tools. These hydrometer, they're super cheap at your local beer or wine store or online. So let's take a reading here and see what we got going on. You just want enough to be able to float your hydrometer. We'll just let that settle down, those bubbles there, a little bit before we take an actual reading. In the meantime, what are we going to do? We're going to pitch our yeast. That's right. And as you guys know, you can either stir it in or you can just sprinkle it on top. You know what, guys? Every single time that I brew, pretty much, I think even on video, I always stir it in. And it's worked out great. Now I have left it just sprinkled on top, and that's what the Mr. Beer instructions ask you to do. But I don't do it. I always mix it in. So this time, very rare occasion, you guys. Very rare occasion. I'm just going to sprinkle it on. That's what we're going to do, folks. Yep. Just like that. Okay. Let's see what our reading comes in at. These are sometimes hard to figure out. I might... Well, she's getting up there. It's going to be pretty high in alcohol, I think. Looks like it's going to be like in the 50s, 53 or 54. You know what, guys? I'm going to let this settle down just a little bit more, and in the next part of the video I'll let you know what it came out at, but it's probably going to be around 53 or 54. Hold on. Now I can get a clear lit read on it. 1, 2, 3. Am I boring you guys yet? Yep, we're going 1053. Hey, you know what we're gonna do? Let's give it a little taste test. Can't see me. Now you can. That's what it looks like. It's not gonna be crazy dark. I think it's gonna be all right. It tastes a little bit of that bitterness, but malty. It's gonna be pretty good, I think. We'll find out. All right. I'll be back to do the bottling with you guys. All right. Cheers. Oh. Cheers. All right, get out of here. Okay, guys, it's been 15 days. So I tried it out, tested it out in the hydrometer a couple days in a row, and it stayed the same. So we know it's ready to bottle. Fermentation is done. So we're going to go ahead and bottle this up now. Not much to the bottling process, just a couple things you got to remember. So for these size bottles, the Mr. Beer, I think these are 740 mils. What you do is you just take 2 teaspoons of dextrose corn sugar, because we're going to use that for our priming sugar so that the rest of the yeast that's in the beer mixture will eat the sugar and produce CO2, and then we're going to have our beer carbonated. So you take 2 teaspoons in these size bottles. If you're using a regular size beer bottle, it's only one teaspoon. Straight up, and then all you do, just fill her up. Just like that. Prime it, fill it, cap it, give it a little invert, boom, you're done. That's it. So I'm just going to go ahead and bottle the rest of these. You don't need to watch me bottle 11, 12 bottles. So yeah, we're going to bottle these up, and then I'm going to be back to test this out. You know, maybe I'll try it in a couple weeks, maybe 2-3 weeks. We'll see what happens. But I'll be back to do testing with you. All right, cheers. Hey, what's happening? Okay, it is time to take this Oktoberfest for a rip. You know what? It's actually only been in the bottle for 5 days. Yeah, I know, right? And I'm gonna try it. Well, I just can't wait. Some of the bottles are quite firm, so I'm guessing there's some decent carbonation in there. So I thought, why not? Let's take it for a spin. So we started our gravity off at 1053, and we ended up at 1006. So calculation comes out to 6.2% alcohol. So it is gonna be a little warm. Speaking of warm, it's still freaking cold in Canada, so I'm gonna need this to warm me up. So let's do it. I got a little bit of a cold too, so maybe that'll throw my taste buds off. I don't know. I don't think so. But all right. Hopefully it's got some good carbonation. Yeah, so it sounds okay. Smells good. Alright. Yeah, I think this one does have some carbonation for sure. Oh, that's a beaut. Alright. Our flashlight. Look at that. What a beautiful, beautiful dark caramel color. Now this one, just like on the can, actually looks exactly like on the can. A lot of times it doesn't. Look at that. That is a beauty. 5 days in the bottle, and look at that. A little bit of head retention on there too. Could be that extra malt we put in there. Mmm. Toasty caramel. Malty. Smells a little bit like a barley wine, actually. Well, let's take it for a spin and see what happens, right? Big caramel malty flavor up front. Big time. Very caramelly. I like it. It's good. I don't even know what to say about this. This is really, 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 really good. Off the back of your tongue, man, you get just that slight bitterness that's just, it's perfect. I don't know. This is probably one of the best straight up Mr. Beers that I've tried in a long time. That Bavarian Weissbier, wheat beer that's on the channel there, that was really good too. And I've tried a lot of theirs, but this, I'd have to say, this is probably one of my favorites. And you know what? It's only been in the bottle for 5 days. You know what? I'm not going to drink any more of these for at least 2 weeks. I was going to say at least a month, but I don't think that's going to happen. 2 weeks, and I bet you this is going to be, well, it'll be a lot more carbonated. I mean, it's pretty carbonated, but it's not a lot of head retention. And it's going to taste phenomenal because it is freaking awesome already. 5 days in the bottle. Wow. There you go, Mr. Beer Oktoberfest Lager. Go out and get it. Brew it. Film it. Subscribe. Tell me what you think. And you know what? Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time. Keep brewing beer and cheers.